Call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight, there will be a vote to enter executive session to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate at 436 Webster Street, Hanover, as an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the school committee's bargaining position. There will be no number 11 on the, this is agenda adjustments on new business tonight. Also, the committee will not return to open session following the executive session. The number 12 adjournment will be done at the end of the executive session. Also, this meeting is being videotaped. Public comment. Any comments tonight from the public? Seeing none. Approve the minutes. Ask for a motion to approve the minutes. Situate. Second by Whitman. Tom. Okay. Abington. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Motion carries. Grace, Student Advisory.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
I don't have much new tonight. Still the same with Skills USA. They're still having the district competition here at March 4th. They're still having their comedy night on March 12th at the Mcas 2 in Hanson. And there
Excuse
are...
me.
Yeah,
Where is it, Nancy?
it's at the Venus 2.
Venus, okay.
And there's 126 competing in districts this year. Student council, we kind of gave up on the bullet plunge a little bit. It's been difficult finding a beach. For Valentine's Day, we made about $212 selling chocolates and little teddy bear keychains. And we have a CMAS conference tomorrow at Rockland High School. It's 4 to 8:30 after school. GSA is the same. We're still working on doing some staff training for our students. And we're still attending state regional GSA meetings virtually. But I think our next one's going to be in person. So that's it.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank
you.
Grace. Thank you. Reports. Jim. You're all set?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. We have your treasury report in front of you. To cover, we have some of our horticulture students that are going and playing with blocks and doing alignment patterns of at one of the local. This is in the barn out in the back where they were practicing with blocks. And also, I believe Grace mentioned last month that we had some culinary students that went to some competition. And there's some pictures that we pulled out that of our students that are actually baking in part of that culinary competition. So, page 2 is our cash balances. Again, January 31st, we have about $6.6 million in the bank, $843,000 in OPEB. This is a little dip in the world. We bill our towns again March 1st, so we'll get another influx of money after the March bills go out. We bill our non-resident towns February 1st, so therefore we just sent them out, so we'll be getting an influx this month, so we'll be in good shape. Page 3 is the revenue for the month. Again, nothing from the towns, everybody's paid up for the first 2 payments. And then we have some investment income in our Chapter 70 state aid. Down below you see what the out-of-district tuition schedule looks like. Everybody has paid their first half of, back in November when we billed them, so. And we just sent out the bills for part 2. And the final page is our expenditures. Again, everything, $972,000 is spent through the general fund, of which $678,000 was the payroll. And again, payroll and health insurance are 80% of our operating expenditures per month as normal. So everything else is going well, very, very well in the business department. Again, Pam and Janine are doing a bang-up job keeping everything up to date. We pay our bills very rapidly Jack, we got a bill from Nancy Holt for our solar field on Monday afternoon, and we were able to get the money out to her very quickly, so we're happy with that. So, yeah, everything else is going well.
I'm still trying to figure out how to hook into it.
Extension
Kind of a
cord.
distance. Big extension cord, yeah.
Yeah.
Motion to accept the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Whitman,
Second.
George. Any discussion on the treasurer's report? All those in favor? It's unanimous, motion carries. Warrants, sir.
Warrants 14A, 15, 15A, and 16, totaling $1,260,684.82.
I'll second that.
Whitman, any discussion on the motion? Warrants, not the motion, the warrants. Not saying none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous, motion carries. Budget transfers.
We have one transfer this evening. Every year with the help of Charlie Rourke, our insurance agent, we normally nail our budget numbers on things like workers' comp pretty good. Unfortunately, the payroll goes up, workers' comp, they come through, they do the workers' comp audit every year, and we're just looking to transfer $6,000 into the workers' comp fund and taking it out of the unemployment benefits, which has a potential savings through the rest of the year. So.
Okay, motion by Hanson, second by Situate. Any discussion on the budget transfers? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Anything else, Jim?
Just as I mentioned to Jack, again, we don't talk about the solar field in Situate that often anymore, seeing how we're like 7 years into the agreement. Situate allows us to change the percentage of credit that we're buying from them, and we play with it once or twice a year based upon the National Grid rates and so forth. And the National Grid has just spiked up pretty high the last couple months.
Mhm.
So we were paying an average of $17 to $18 a kilowatt hour, and I think the last month we spent like $25 to $26 per kilowatt hour. So with that, I've been talking to Nancy Holt, who's fabulous over in Situate, and we just increased the percentage of credit that we're buying. Because normally, the percentage is too high, we build up National Grid credits, which just sit on the books. So we lower it, we eat up the National Grid credits, we pay Situate, I think, 10 cents per kilowatt hour. It's a great deal for both towns. And so we just, as a mention, that we did raise the percentage from 12% up to 25% to get us through the cold months and get more credit from the town of Situate. So.
Thank you, Jim. Nothing from the chairman tonight. Subcommittees, there are no subcommittee reports tonight. Superintendent Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very briefly tonight, update on our fiscal 23 budget process. On February 2nd, Jim and Tom and I met via Zoom with Abington's Finance Committee and made a presentation on the budget. And last night, Jack and I were on Zoom with Situate's Select Board and offered some commentary on the budget as well. And going forward, we'll be meeting via Zoom with Situate's Advisory Committee on February 24th, Norwell's Advisory on March 15th, and Whitman's Finance Committee on March 22nd.
That'll be in-house, I think.
And that'll be in person? Yeah,
I think that's what they're doing.
Thank you. Yeah. Other scheduled meetings, I'll keep you informed. I will reach out to all of our communities if I haven't heard from them, just to offer to be available to meet with advisory or select board. Second item is around this time of the year, I'll provide you with updates on annual performance goals, on third-party credentials, a revised admissions policy, and progress we're making on assessment practices. I'll provide you with a more complete update in May. And lastly, I'll turn it over to Mark and Sandy to provide some administrator reports.
Thank you, Mr. Hickey. We're also going to keep it short today. It's just me. I think we got a lot of little nuggets we're going to talk about tonight, no big boulders. We have started to return to a little bit of normalcy. All the students are eating in the lunchroom at the same time. We do have desks on the sides for those students who still like to separate in precautionary reasons, but for the vast majority of the kids, they're allowed to socialize and sit at tables and do what they would do pre-COVID. So it's nice to hear them. It's a little loud, we're not quite used to that.
Nice to hear them, right?
Yes,
They'll
it's
come
good to
back,
hear
yeah.
them and know that they're doing what they should be doing in a high school setting, so it's really nice. Also in the high school setting for the students, athletics is really coming around. We have two students, Ben Kaneen and Connor Pernick, who are going to go to the state wrestling tournament this weekend up in Fitchburg. Our girls' basketball team is 14-4, and they're headed to the tournament. And our hockey team is headed to the state tournament for the first time in a decade. They have a really solid team, so we're doing well there. Co-op numbers, we usually talk about co-op numbers. We, as of this afternoon, there are 111 students. So that includes 17 juniors who've only been able to go out in the last 2 weeks. So in the last 2 weeks, we've had 17 students sign up. They're, to give you an idea, the highest number we've ever had as of this date is 89. So we're like 22 ahead of wherever we've ever been before. So really strong numbers. This, I think, is due in part to the team led by Mr. Boyle, but also I think we've really come to that cultural change in this building where the students know they're expected to go out, they know they're making money, and that's just what we do here. When you're a senior and a junior, you go out and you make money in the job site, and you learn about your trade from other people who are doing the work in the trenches, so it's really nice. Drama Club, Dinner Theater is back this year. So the first 2 weekends in April 1st and 2nd, and 8th and 9th, in the lecture hall. We'll be celebrating that. That's nice to see that back. They're doing a play called Check Please. So they've been working on that pretty much, and Grace is involved too. They've been doing that pretty much solid since January, so they're really getting ready to go. Mr. Mahoney asked last session about, he asked about Credit for Life. That is going to be on Wednesday, April 13th. This is where the students get a budget and they try and figure out. We kind of adapted it a little this year. This year they're going to be more of learning how to talk and relate to other people. Maybe while you're holding a cup of coffee or a croissant or something like that. But they'll do the math elsewhere. So that's going to happen on April 13th. Sandy and I invite you all to come in at 8 o'clock. We're having a little breakfast for them before we get going. So if you're free on April 13th, that's a Wednesday morning, do please come in and do that. And I'm going to wrap up with Mcas. We had 17 students last year who did not pass parts of the Mcas, for a myriad of reasons. We weren't in school every day, that type of thing. So they had to do retakes back in January. We got those scores back last week. I'm happy to report that out of the 20 tests that were administered, 18 were passed. So we have one student who needs to pass English, and we have one student who needs to pass math. They are working during our 9th period, which is the program we put in place. So I do have to say kudos to Pam Walsh, who's the math instructor who's been working with these students, and for Allie Provost, who is our English instructor working. They've done yeoman's work with these kids. Kids are coming for extra help. They're staying in 9th period. They're getting out of vocational time once in a while. So kudos to everybody on that effort. They've done a really nice job.
Good, very good.
Any questions? All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Back to me. I didn't know if Sandy had anything.
No, just me tonight.
Okay, hi there. Just trying to be polite, that's all. Okay, new business. Budget certification, try it out. The first item for certification is of the fiscal year 23 budget. I'd entertain a motion on the certification of the proposed fiscal year 23 budget at $14,944,722. And with the following town assessments. Jim McCollum.
Mr. Chairman, I'll just read them off for the record. Abington's assessment, $1,317,835. Cohasset's, $148,921. Hanover's assessment, $1,054,852. Hanson's assessment, $1,182,596. Norwell's assessment, $529,532. Rockland's assessment, $1,839,189. Situate's assessment, $557,842. Whitman's assessment, $1,636,552.
Very good. Motion, please.
Make motion.
Whitman, followed by Situate. Any discussion on the,
Yeah, Tom, one question. The assessments, is that what you quoted the last time?
Yes,
Thanks.
so the documents we'll put up on our website will have a breakdown of the numbers I just spoke, showing the different parts, yes.
Okay. All right, just so
No changes since our last
no
meeting.
change, okay.
thank you. Anyone else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Next item is a revised face covering policy approval. First, I would ask for a motion to suspend the 2-month policy approval process. This requires a 2/3 vote. So we'll go around the room. All right?
Should do roll call?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
If we could just, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, if we could just record a motion.
Right.
Okay,
We'll take a motion in a second and
I'd like to
then,
make a motion.
okay, I'm sorry. Situate makes a motion, followed by Rockland. Any discussion on that? Sorry, I jumped the gun. All those in favor, we'll do a roll call. Abington, yes.
Yes.
Rockland,
Yes.
Situate, Hanson, Hanover, yes. Cohasset, yes.
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 Yes, unanimous. Motion carries. Next is a revision of a face coverings policy. I'll ask Tom to explain the revisions.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. So as you know, the state has lifted the mask mandate effective February 28th. We have a policy on the books labeled EBCFA in our policy manual on face coverings, which we voted on what feels like 1,000 years ago back in August of 2020. This revised policy would make mask wearing optional as of February 28th, 2022, with the exception of the nurse's office, school vehicles, and individuals returning to school after a positive COVID diagnosis for days 6 to 10 of their recovery period. It also goes on to say that if the federal government removes the transportation mandate for masks, our policy would automatically revert to an optional policy.
Good.
Okay, I need a motion on that.
I'll make that motion.
Whitman,
Second.
second by Rockland. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous, motion carries. Amen. Out-of-state field trip. Next item is an out-of-state field trip for the Outdoor Adventure Club in Caratunk, Maine, for whitewater rafting.
Oh,
Hopefully they'll wait a couple months.
I was gonna say, hopefully it's not this week.
Yeah. It is in May,
Oh, okay.
so there's a 50-50 chance.
Otherwise it'd be
Oh, time for the black flies.
iceberg dodging. Maine's not that bad.
Memorial Day?
Yeah,
I think so. May 30th? Might be a little earlier than that. Okay.
okay.
So that's the return time.
Do I have a motion?
28th to 30th. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, are you all set? It's Memorial Day weekend,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
So,
So moved, Situate. Second by Hanson. Any discussion on the field trip? Seeing none, all those in favor?
aye.
Unanimous. Motion carries. Any requests for action? Seeing none? Motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session and not to reconvene.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Whitman? Yeah, right. I need a roll call vote for that. We'll start with Whitman.
Yes.
Yes. Norwell?
Yes.
Cohasset? Hanover, yes? Yes? Yes. Yes, thank you. Motion carries, it's unanimous. We are now in executive session.